Hey there, and welcome. Thank you for tuning in on our podcast with Ororo and Nancy. Our mission is simple. We're answering the call on the building fear over the past few years to transform that energy towards fun. So let's have a conversation and go from fear to fun. Cool. Hello. Hey, Nancy.
Hi, Ororo. How's
Woo!
everything in this wonderful, I don't even know what it is. It's awfully rainy. The rain has been pounding all day long.
Yeah, but it's really relaxing, so
It,
I'm quite all right with it.
it is really, yeah, just a few people are experiencing up north
Oh,
in
yeah, in
Queensland.
Queensland.
They've
Yeah.
got quite a bit of flooding going on, but it's not too bad where I am, but it's just cleansing. Water is cleansing, emotions clearing. So let's hope we will
That's what it
put it
is.
that way.
That's what it is. I'm like, it's very symbolic that it's just pouring rain right now.
Yeah.
Of course.
Releasing our emotions, letting it all go and learning to relate to ourselves and others in a different way.
Very much so. And I think now more than ever, I mean, given, some horrible events that's happening at the moment, but we're going to all learn to interconnect. And I think that's a great segue into relationships.
Yep.
Not only with like family and, your partner or anything like that, but with yourself and others.
Yeah.
To explore that.
Exactly. How we relate. My voice is probably going because I've been talking all day, because so many people reaching out, and what I've noticed, and a lot of people actually beginning something new. Maybe it's the new moon. I think we've got the new moon in Pisces. Maybe they're all feeling the energy from the new moon, but a lot of people actually, I've had 3 or 4 people reach out who've been wanting to lose weight for a long time, and were quite comfortable. Oh, well, that's the way it is, accepted the size and the weight. Now they're ready to shed it. They want to shed this excess weight, and they're saying, how do I do it? So it's all about relating. How do you relate to yourself? There's many aspects to, let's say, we just talk about the size of our body and the weight and certain things that we want to change. Is there's a psychological aspect to
it's major. Yeah.
People gain weight. It could be due to comfort eating. You just eat to make yourself feel better, or build up a shield to protect yourself from the external world, or many different reasons, really. A lot of it is psychological, and it's different for each person. Of course, there are other reasons, if people just simply overeat and don't take any notice. But even that's just behavior management, I think, unless there's some sort of a metabolic or physiological condition. Most people are able to make that change and start looking different and feeling different. Instead of focusing on, I want to lose this, it's focusing on the loss. What we need to focus on, I want to feel better. I want my body to feel lighter and better. We need to change the way we think and say things.
Yeah, I was about to say, I agree with that. Like, I want to gain
I want to gain health. A healthy body. Exactly.
It's more positive as well, rather than I want to lose weight. Like, losing weight is a great aspect in general, but I think it's the language, like, I want to lose something. Like,
exactly.
You want to gain like a healthier body,
Yeah.
like you said, or healthier, clearer mind, or you know, gain the ability to do something that you haven't done before. Like I want to gain strength to run 5Ks or something like that. I think it just changes it a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Look at it as a positive goal where you're actually benefiting from it, because the way the universe understands our language and affirmations is, so if you're always focusing on the negative and loss and what you don't, if you always say what you don't want, I don't think the universe really understands.
Oh, it understands that you're saying it a lot, so it must be what you want.
So I'll give you more of what
So
you want, what you don't want.
exactly. I think it's a bit of a trickster in that funny way.
It is, and it's just changing things around how we relate to our body, how we relate to our mind, how we relate to each other, and all of these things. It's all, well, even relationship with money and with your partner, with everybody. It's all, we need to address all of it. It's all relationship, isn't it? It all begins with a relationship with yourself.
100%.
And then you go from there, and other people, your partners, your colleagues, family, or whatever it is, your people you interact with every day will kind of reflect to you where you at what level you're at, where you need to grow, what you need to address. And they're like a mirror, they act as a mirror.
Yeah.
You know, they might trigger you. So that's what relationships are about. They're huge, especially, you know, whether it's friends or lovers or work colleagues, it doesn't matter. When we're triggered, we need to look at the trigger and how that trigger makes us feel. That's the most important thing about.
And what it's showing you as well. Like,
yeah. That's
like, why is this in my face?
Right, which, you know, the usual way of is usually, get angry because you kind of get defensive and say, I don't want this in my face, and go away, and you blame the other person, and you might have an argument and carry on and negative stuff. But actually, no, that person is showing you what you need to look at that's still holding you from being 100% true to yourself and living your life. How often do we, I mean, I even know throughout my life, you do something and you're worried about, I better be careful what I say, because how will that be taken? How will that affect your job? How will it affect your relationship? And when you go down that road, there's always a level of fear of loss. There's some kind of fear of loss of something. For you to worry about how people look at you, or if you might lose your job, or you might lose your credibility, or it's just some kind of, that's all it is. All that is really is just the ego stepping out of its little home and perceives the danger and wants to warn you off. But you need to have a little meditation time with yourself and just say, okay, this interaction has brought out such and such and such. It made me feel angry, or made me feel frustrated, and made me feel unworthy, or whatever feeling you might have. And then just go down the road of releasing, or wondering, or asking where they came from, and just really clearing your belief system.
Yeah, and I also believe that having a good relationship with yourself is probably one of the best or key things you need to go on a journey on, or overcome. I don't know how you want to phrase it, but you know, it's how, I guess, like, people can jump from one bad relationship to another one. It's because you're not really dealing with the relationship with yourself, and you project that and bring baggage. And I guess nothing really people haven't heard before, but it's so common sense, but at the same time, it's so overlooked.
It is, yeah. It is, because the way I look at it is our entire lives are spent interacting with one another, and it's all about, you really come to your own when you master yourself. I think that's what it's all about, is mastering yourself, your emotions, and just clearing what any feelings of unworthiness. That's a pretty big umbrella for a lot of stuff. If you feel unworthy of happiness, or unworthy of having enough money or comfortable lifestyle, and you're continuously sabotaging yourself, well, you really got to stop and say, why? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Do I enjoy this process? Do I enjoy always sabotaging myself and having an outcome I don't prefer? So,
doing the same thing over and over again, and
exactly,
getting angry at the same outcome. So, which I've been through myself. You just get to a point like, this is just stupid. Obviously, something has to change.
Yep.
And you literally get sick of it. So,
yeah,
that's a learning process.
Yeah, but how often, we'll say, oh, she's or he's so irritating, or you're frustrating me, or you're doing this, or you're doing that. You kind of just want to push that person away, because they're pushing the limit, and you might for a second say, okay, that's enough, you're frustrating me. And then set that healthy boundary. So you kind of, especially if you're in a relationship with, well, I'm talking about lovely relationships, because you're on an intimate level, you really need to be able to understand each other and allow each other the space to.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that.
Because
it doesn't feel suffocating in that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm very much like, in terms of my relationship, like Chris and I are two people who want to be together, but not like overtake or what's that word?
Not suffocate each other.
Yeah.
And you end up suffocating or living the other person's life, and eventually something has to give, and you just freak out, and if
there's no balance to it too.
Balance. That's exactly right.
And you get lost, and you're like, wait, is that my thoughts or his thoughts? And it's like, that gets a little bit scary. But
Rejection is another big one in intimate relationships. I mean, just by I'm trying to think of an example. Even if you just at the dating stage, and if one person can't make it, or changes the date, or whatever it is, just can't make to meet you, or at that, whatever the point, whatever, let's say you've organized a date to go out to dinner, and that person can't make it for some reason, well, then you've got to look at how it makes you feel. Do you just accept it and say, oh, well, he or she is busy, all right, never mind, we'll do another time? Or do you feel, is there any are there any feelings of rejection? Or
I was about to say that. Abandonment.
Oh, what's he doing? Is he seeing someone else? Sort of stuff, that can create a lot of tension in a relationship. So it needs to be addressed straight away, and you need to do that on your own. If that comes up, and any of these feelings of doubt, lack of trust, feelings of rejection, or being let down, or is he telling the truth? Yes, that's your work. You need to sit down and work on it and say, why do I feel like this? Is there any truth in this?
And most probably not, but it stemmed from somewhere.
Exactly. And really, in the end, does it really matter, even if they did lie, or even if they're kind of worsing somebody else? Oh, well, eventually the truth will come out. It's not your fault. That's their karma. They've got to wear it.
Exactly. And better sooner than later, really.
Exactly. It's very good to do the work on yourself, to improve that relationship with yourself, to really get to know who you are, what you enjoy, who you truly are, and any of the any emotions, any beliefs, or anything that makes you feel less than, or doubtful, trusting, fearful, any fearful, fear-based kind of emotions that need to be dealt with straight away, because it's your work. And it's normal. We all go through it. Every one of us has to go through it. The worst part is when people don't address that and they just start blaming the other person, accusing them, creating problems. And if they have children, that's even worse. They use children as the kind of a ping pong ball or tennis ball in between them as a tool to get to the other person. Now that's very difficult and damaging to everyone involved. So the quicker we learn about ourselves, who we are, what do we like, who we want to be, how we relate to others, the better all our relationships are. Yep, I had to do that.
Oh, we all did. I mean, and hopefully we all do at some point, but yeah. Guess one of the things I did want to ask, I guess from your point of view, like from all your learnings and whatnot, is like what aspects of, like, I guess relationships in general, like you think now that you had before, that you, or what, I guess, what like lessons, like major lessons learned?
The lessons that I've learned.
Yeah, in terms of relationships, in general.
Well, I picked up a pattern in my life. There's a bit of a cycle of narcissistic behavior, really. Sometimes you can be overgiving and you don't receive the same what you expect from other people, and to the point of people pleasing.
Yeah,
so that was
I can attest to that.
I had to learn that one. And as the moment I picked up the pattern, what I was doing, and I thought, wow, I'm the common denominator here. I can't just put myself out there like a doormat so everybody can just take. I really need to see why this is happening. Is there anything within me that's creating this? Why do I feel that I need to please everybody? I need to please myself as well. There has to be that healthy boundaries where everybody's benefiting. So I started doing the work on myself to, it's self-worth. It's basically, I had to learn to value myself more. Another area I had sort of very little respect for money. I didn't think money was really that important. Like people, to me, people always come first, how we interact with one another, help each other. And I really had no respect for money. I just thought, it had a negative attachment to it because people often used it for greed and to control others, and that, until I learned that actually, no, money doesn't have a negative. Maybe it does at some level, but actually money is a tool that we've chosen to use to trade. Just because some people chose to use that to control others, that's their issue. There's something they need to deal with. And they will eventually, it'll be in their face, and they have to learn how to deal with that. As long as you use money's energy like everything else. It needs to flow. So as you earn money in a certain amount, you can't hold on to it. If you just hold on to every cent, worrying about where the next dollar is going to come from, well, that's kind of telling the universe that you're not really capable of, or not worthy, or not ready to have a large amount of money and live a comfortable life. So you really need to be okay with it and have 100% faith. Yes, money's flowing in, and I'm going to share with others. Put a certain amount away for if you want to travel, buy a house, whatever you need to do. But then you need to flow. The money needs to flow. You can put part of it away, but you can't put all of it away and just live like a pauper and hold on, because that reflects misery and fear. It needs to flow in a positive, what's the word, comfortable, flowing way, trusting. Really, you need to have trust that everything you need, that's what I've learned, and I manifest anything I need now. Whatever you need will come to you. You have to have 100% that it will, what you need. Anything above the need is greed. Why do we need to have 10 million houses? For goodness sake, I can only live in one. You know, it just gets a little bit too much. So balance. We need to find balance, really. But no, I've done a lot of work on myself, and I grew up in the 60s. Well, I was born in mid 50s. So women were still suppressed, and there weren't so many opportunities available to women, and a lot of, like my mum and lots of other female roles in our life kind of came second to the men. All the opportunities were available to the men. So I had to learn that I'm worthy. As worthy as any man out there, and luckily the times are changing, and we're not quite there yet. We need to be equal. We need to be equally appreciated. Men are wonderful. They have their own attributes, and so women in their own way, and we need to appreciate each other, not put each other down.
Yeah.
Or humiliate one another and belittle. And this is what I absolutely find disgusting. I don't listen to it anymore. You will often hear on TV or radio, sometimes when I'm driving, I hear these radio personalities. If there's a male and a female, the female will put the male down, the man will be ridiculed, and like he's just a clown and he's not capable and he'd always stuff up and do stupid things. And I think that's so really insulting to men. It really is.
Yeah.
Men are wonderful beings in their own right. We need to respect them, not put them down. So women, why should you put another woman down and talk down to her?
Wasn't it the same? It's the same like that. Yeah. It just becomes this battlefield, and it just never ends. And I'm like you, I just like get over it, like hearing the same garbage.
Exactly.
I'm like, how is this even like, yeah, I just don't like it. I turn it off. But yeah, I totally agree there. Sometimes you just like, you know, there's always good banter and stuff, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, that cuts a bit deep, doesn't it? Like, and then I'm like, oh, you know, I'm also on the fact that, you know, guys also get ridiculed as much as women do. So just need to kind of respect the boundaries of both.
Exactly. Why do we need to do that? Why do we need to belittle and ridicule and use sarcasm? Again, why? It's a reflection, to me, it's a reflection of insecurity. So we can have fun. There's nothing wrong with good sense of humor, and you have fun with each other. That's different. But when sarcasm and belittling, and I was only joking, you know, all those weak excuses. Well, not if you're hurting the other person and embarrassing them in front of everyone. That's not fun. We can have fun with each other, but we need to be respectful, non-judgmental, and encourage each other, bring out the best in each other. This is what we need to unite and enjoy life. And I think what all this pandemic and all this stuff we've been going through, restrictions and everything, is really teaching us to value ourselves and everybody around, value each other, really value each other and unite to create a better life. That's my conclusion with all of this we've been going through. I think it was unfortunate, as awful as it's been. It was really necessary to turn everything around, I think.
Because there would have been no other time, I think, for everyone to kind of be forced to self-reflect.
No, not the whole world.
Yeah, that's what I'm taking from it, even though it's absolutely horrible. It was like literally everyone, you have to think about your life,
yeah,
and what is actually important to you. Like, you had no choice, really.
Yeah,
Which is, I guess, in a way, a horrible initial setup, but I think, and I hope, people are, acting on whatever thoughts that came to their head, and being enlightened in some way. I know, like I have, and I'm still like, I guess, implementing like the thoughts in my head as like we went through the lockdown, but yeah, it really didn't defeat me in a sense. Yeah, if anything, it just kind of made me like wiser and hopefully smarter, and just thought, okay, I actually don't need this, and this in my life. And it was just a filler because I had the time. And like, it's horrible. Like, you can leave at any time, unexpectedly. And what's important to me. And yeah, it's kind of like when you have 20 things to do on your list, and then you bring it down to 5, the most important things. You're like, oh, that's what I really wanted to do.
Exactly.
I felt like that's what I came to. And one of those things is just like, for me, is like for Chris and I to, grow together. But like, what did that mean? And then, after being locked together and talking and communicating, like, yeah, we've come to a lot of awesome realizations. And that's like 6 years in, and we thought we kind of had it all thought out, but no. When you're kind of forced to really face each other and communicate, it's beautiful, but like really uncomfortable at the time. Which is really weird to say, but that's how I felt. Like, it was like uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's yeah,
carry on.
Oh, sorry, but like the results from like voicing and communicating our thoughts and putting everything on the plate and what we really wanted, like, it's been amazing ever since, and it's still continuing to be amazing. But yeah, it was just a really uncomfortable thing. Like, do we really? Yeah, we do actually. We need to talk about this. What do I want, and do those wants collide together as a couple?
Yep, true, because we've been conditioned to be busy, to do stuff, to get out there and succeed, make money and buy this and buy that, and really just took us away from each other. Families didn't have time for one another, and everybody said busy. I don't know what they were doing, but they were awfully busy doing a whole lot of stuff that
doing what?
Proven to we don't need to do. We actually don't need to do half of that crap that we've been doing, because somehow the processes depends. I don't think it really matters what industry you're in, but we started spending more time
away from family, I feel sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Justifying, spending a lot of time justifying why we're doing what we're doing and how we went about it, and sitting down and write, like, for example, the nursing. All of a sudden, that took so much time from us to have that one-on-one with the patient. So we had to document exactly what we did, at what time, how it went, this and that. So you spend so much time reporting, you don't actually have the time to do your job. And it just got ridiculous over the years. It just got worse and worse and worse. And it really just showed that there was no quality. So really everything just went totally out of control. Everybody's just was everywhere forced to do this stupid thing so we can just have a roof over our head. It's absolutely ridiculous. And now I think nature says, enough, that's not what humans are supposed to be doing. You're meant to be uniting and supporting one another, raising your children. When I see kids couple of years old, 1, 2, 3, and they're spending a lot more time using electronics than actually playing outside or interacting with their parents. I'm there. Hello.
Yeah. God, I barely remember. Yeah, I barely remember even spending an hour in front of the TV or anything when I was a kid. I was like, I want to go outside. I want to play with my dog, go to the park, climb a tree and get hurt. I didn't want to be in the lounge. That was boring.
Boring, exactly. Yeah, but how many children don't actually have a choice?
Yes,
they don't have a backyard, they don't have a dog, they don't have the opportunity to get out into nature and play. It's the cities were built really prisons, if you ask me, like boxes. Everybody's stuck in the box and living life according to some crazy schedule. So here comes pandemic, and as much as we hated it, really made us all look at ourselves. Some people checked out. I know a lot of people that checked out, couldn't handle it. But we have to keep on going and ask why we created that, because ultimately we create everything that we're living through. So to me, I think it was a wonderful thing for many people, even though there's a lot of fear instilled. I don't live my life through fear, but a lot of people do. But what I've noticed the past week or two, there's a huge amount of people, I think since this business in the Ukraine started, people have their attention has been taken away from the TV and the pandemic, and it's been taken towards the whatever's going on over there. And the images have just taken over completely. So the brain can, as far as I can see, the brain can only take so much. I don't watch TV, so I don't know how much people are exposed, but they contact me and they tell me how they feel, and it's not a very good feeling. So I say, turn the TV off.
Oh, it's meant to make you feel a certain way. Remember watching, I think, Chris just happened to put the TV on and was just watching the coverage of it, and I noticed the images are horrible and what's going there is horrible, but then it's the music that accompanies it. You feel yourself just getting sad and angry, and I'm like, I didn't feel like this 2 seconds ago. I'm like, what is this garbage?
Yeah, exactly.
I actually watch a bit of coverage about what's going on YouTube. There's 2 or 3 channels that just give you facts and this is the stats and what's happening, and then just kind of no background music to make you feel anything, and just and you walk away informed and you make your own decisions and thoughts on it. I like that, because everyone, I think you said this a couple of episodes ago, we're losing critical thinking, because everyone's going to interpret the same thing differently, which is totally fine. But to orchestrate how you feel and what you see, I think you're very much the same. It's just you just go, well, no, you can't orchestrate what you want me to make feel and see. Give me the facts, don't, But is it like the music like literally brings your vibration or your feelings to a certain level that you feel like crap?
Yeah.
Like that's what I feel when I watch certain news on the TV. And especially that segment, like the music was like out of control, like attached to it. And just like I felt horrible to the already horrible situation that it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it is. That's the idea, because we've been living in the negative matrix for so long, and now it's time for us to pull away from that. And I think when people are so used to living a certain way, they find it very difficult to pull away. So to change their ways and to get out of that way of living and say, oh, wait a minute, there's something different. They don't know any better. I don't know how many people say to me, oh, that's the, I only watch ABC because they tell the truth. I was like, oh, good luck. I don't think any of them really telling the real truth at the moment, but for whatever reason, it's too negative. We don't need it anymore. We are moving away from it. We're going back to unity, helping one another, community living, less sort of focus on the largest, huge, big cities and everybody scattered everywhere, rushing like lunatics. I remember when I used to work in the city, watching everybody get off the train, like I used to say to myself, oh, what did I used to say? Lambs to the slaughter.
Oh, no.
It looked like a stampede, you know, everybody's just like a cattle going to stampede, like lambs going to the slaughter, and they're all going in one wave. And I used to watch from the outside. So where's everybody rushing? They're rushing off the train, they're rushing here, they're rushing to lunch, they're rushing here, they're rushing back on the train, rushing home, rushing to bed. I'm like, oh my God, so much rush and stress.
Yeah.
In one day. And we had to let that go. That's not who we are. Humanity is, our frequency is love, it's harmony, it's peace. And we've just been pulled away from that into much lower frequencies that brought in a lot of fear. And now we're saying goodbye. We don't need it anymore. So it's really lots of wonderful things around the corner. We just have to support each other and get through this stage, and it's going to be wonderful.
I hope so. Because I'm feeling it. At, I guess it's subconsciously, like just certain things. I'm like, oof, that's horrible. No, out of my field of reality. Things.
Yeah.
Very cutthroaty in that sense. So like people, like certain news and food. I'm just like, it's just garbage. And it's meant to keep you at that low level.
Yeah, it is.
And when you start working on yourself and building your relationship with yourself, you start to literally reject things that aren't beneficial for you, which is a wonderful thing to recognize, I think. You know, with wanting to lose weight, but then, you know, changing my attitude, like, you know, I want to gain a healthier body, or I want to do certain things and I need to get fitter. I've noticed now that, you know, certain, like, even I'm guilty of like wanting a cheeseburger once in a while, but I literally can't eat that anymore because my body is just like, oh, this is not for you. And I literally throw it up. So you train your body, or relationship with your body, relationship with your mind and yourself. Like, you know, there's certain things don't benefit you, and your body will help you and your mind will help you as well. So yeah,
it is, it's true, because we've been brought up to think, or we were always told that you must eat all the 5, I think it was 5 food groups, and for goodness sake, the 3 out of 5 food groups didn't agree with me. I could only tolerate 2 or maybe 1 and a fraction of another. So that didn't go down so well when I was growing up. I was very ill because everybody was making me eat all this stuff that didn't agree with me. now we know a lot better. So if you're not sure, I mean, even from day to day, I don't know how people can work out weekly menus, because it's, how do you know how you're going to feel on next Sunday? You need to go at each moment, when you want to eat or have a drink, ask yourself, what do I feel like? What does my body need? Or ask your body, what does it need? What nutrition does it need? You can do when you meditate, or I just get into the habit where I just ask my body all the time, what do you feel like? And then your body will tell you what nutrition it needs.
Yeah.
Everything, and all the drinks and everything you need. And there's nothing wrong with having an occasional burger or anything else that may not be so high vibe. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as majority of the food is high vibe, fresh, easy to digest, whatever your body needs. I don't think there's right or wrong. Some people don't eat meat, others do. I don't think we should judge each other, each to their own. I don't know what the person next to me, what their body might require. It's not my business to tell them what to eat.
I know.
Only what I want to eat. That's my relationship with myself, and they can I can leave them to develop a relationship with themselves in their own time. So that's what we need to learn, really, is focus within and check in with yourself with everything.
Exactly, because like, for example, like, you know, when keto was like a massive thing. It's like, for me personally, I can't think of anything more horrid than eating so much fat. But if it works for some people, that's fantastic. But like, I just thought, yeah, you know, people have lost so much weight and that's fantastic. But I'm like, in my head, oh, I can't think of anything more gross for me. There's only so much avocado I can eat, mate. And I'm not the biggest fan of bacon, and I like my carbs. I really do. So I'm not gonna sacrifice myself, but you know, I've learned that, you know, I need to maybe have control certain portions and stuff like that. And you just gotta be, yeah, like you said, like, you know, what do I feel like and what does my body need? Like, it needs to intersect. Rather than just making yourself miserable, like, I need to do a keto diet because that's what works. Well, not if you hate fat so much. Like,
exactly. And how could anybody out there create one way of eating for the entire world? I mean, hello, you know, how could you have one way of eating? I don't understand. Well, we're all individuals. We all have our own different metabolic system, our digestive system, what our body
hormones and genetics and stuff like that. Yeah.
All different needs. I mean, I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just talking about what works for me. And I used to have a lot of problems with my weight in my 20s. The weight would just balloon for no reason whatsoever. Well, I thought there was no reason, but I worked it out. It was comfort eating. And once I learned to eat to sustain my well-being, everything changed. I've never had to worry about since for all my life. Now in my 60s, and I don't really worry about gaining weight. You'll hear often women talking about postmenopausal weight gain. Well, I don't know about that. Not for every
Not if you listen to your body and do some exercise that you feel good doing.
That's right. Maybe for some people it happens, but not for all of us, no. And you really need to listen to your body. You got to build that relationship. Number one relationship in your life is with yourself. In every way. You need to honor your body. You need to honor your mind. You need to honor your heart. You got to meditate, relax, sit down, honor yourself the time to feel good. That's number one to me when it comes to relationships. And then, of course, when you're so comfortable with yourself, you're going to attract a partner who will equally want to honor you. So there's no reason for all these, you know, huge relationship problems. the moment you're comfortable with yourself, your life changes in a better way, in a very, very good way.
Oh, and you attract, yeah. You know, people who are meant to be your friends, your family is the same as well. Like your family is never excluded from when you develop a good relationship with yourself. Because you understand boundaries and what your boundaries are. And I think I've said this before. I love setting boundaries.
Yep.
Just because, you know, I've only got a limited time that I want to focus on, and I'm very comfortable in voicing that.
Good.
And it's at a place of love, not like, you know, I'm too busy for anyone. It's just like, I'm sorry, but that's not where my happy place is.
That's right.
And it's okay to say that.
And it has to come from love.
Yeah, not
control. Some people do take it the wrong way, and they use setting boundaries as a way of controlling the environment. But no, it's exactly what you said. It has to come from a place of love, because you honor yourself, you respect yourself. So you're showing other people how you treat yourself and how you want them to treat you. And that's very important.
I think it's one of the most important things, I think.
It is, because everything begins and ends with you, really. Everything. You were born and you learn, and we came here to learn and master ourselves and master emotions, and probably release some previous karma from lifetimes and ancestral karma.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. And
probably,
once you master yourself, it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
And effortless.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And it never ends. I don't think it ends until we leave this planet. But the thing is, once you know how it works, and the more you treat yourself with love and respect, honor yourself, oh, just your whole life changes. It's beautiful. It really is.
Yeah.
That's my main point, is really treat yourself with respect, because self-sabotaging comes from some kind of beliefs of being unworthy of happiness. Or so the minute you work on all your beliefs that make you unworthy, maybe you've created them through your upbringing, through growing up, or your partners, your previous partners or your exes have told you that you're useless, you're this, you're that put you down, and then you feel that you're not good enough. But no, that could have been their perspective, but you got to learn to love yourself first. Self-love is number one. In a good way, from a loving kind of a compassionate way for yourself and others, because how your energy expands, you affect everybody around you. And if you do it from the controlling way, well, you just push people away and you get them on a defensive sort of foot. So they just want to attack and get defensive. So no,
which is showing you what you're projecting. Yeah,
exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. No, it's wonderful. It's marvelous what we're going through at the moment, because I've noticed so many young people are really learning the importance of respecting and honoring themselves, which is really good. Really good.
Yeah.
Good sign.
And I think it's probably needed
now
more than ever, considering how everything out there is looking right now. But yeah,
trust your inner power. Always come back to yourself. Always come to yourself. Ask yourself. Look within. Spend time alone. Analyze how you're feeling right in this moment. You're feeling happy, or you're feeling down, or you're feeling sad. Analyze your feelings at any given moment.
Yeah, because I was going to ask, like, how would you start? But I guess that's a very loaded question. And I think it's very situational. And I think, like what you're saying, as it happens, like, just stop. And I think that's a start.
Yeah.
even if you can't come up with answers straight away. Just like, oh, why is that in my face? Why do I like recognize it?
Yep.
And just ask yourself that question. It'll come sooner or later.
It'll unfold. Eventually it'll
Mm.
unfold. You'll know. And you just keep doing the same. And really the universe will get the message that you want to improve your life. You focused on self-improvement and self-love, and you'll get more of it.
Yeah, I agree. Because I've asked many a times how to solve this problem, and then I'm like, it'll come to me. Like before with the whole editing thing, I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot. And then I was like, I'll leave it. And it came to me so randomly the other night, and I was like, oh, thank you.
That's right. You break up the energy that tends to restrictive energy. And I always say, show me the way, please. Shall I connect with myself? And so show me the way. Where do I go? Where do I start? And then you get guided either to some videos or people or messages, or it just comes to you and you know the answer. But you need to break the energy. If you're stuck on a problem and you just keep going and banging your head on, it's not going to improve until you walk away and break that energy.
Yeah. Sometimes it just needs that solid like 10 seconds for you to not focus on it, divert, and then it's like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, because you changed it up. You changed the frequency. You were flowing at the same rate of, frequency. You were just going, you were kind of staying the same, and nothing's going to change. If the frequency remains the same, how can you have a different result?
Yeah.
You need to walk away. Then when you come back, you're totally in a different frequency. Then you can align with whatever you're trying to do. That's all it is. It's breaking up that energy to really just changing things. It's like when you could have a pot of water on the stove, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for it to boil. Then you get sick, or you just walk away. The minute you've walked away, the damn thing's boiled all over the place.
Of course. And you're like, of course.
Yes, that's why, because you walked away and you changed that energy of waiting, suspense, energy of suspense and waiting. You walked away, you broke that frequency, you made a change, and then phew, it goes everywhere and it's boiled all over. It quite happens very often. That's why I just
again, the universe being a trickster. Yeah,
no tension, no
resistance or willing it to happen, forcing it. I find I mean, certain situations, I think they're necessary. I think if it's like, life and death, or like, your safety, but some things you just like really can't put up resistance or will it to happen. You literally just need to step away for a second, and then it will literally be like a light bulb moment. which happens all the time now, which I think I've learned the trick. I'm getting into a level where I'm trying to will something to happen. Obviously it's not going to, so break. And then I'm like, oh, let's get a coffee or something like that. And I come back and I look and I'm like, oh, that's what I was missing. There you go, problem solved.
Yeah, but it's true, you reminded me when I was working in usually in an office setting, because not all my jobs were in an office setting, but the times when I was in an office, and you would see people got a problem, or there's a conflict over something, or things aren't working out. And they'll, okay, I'm going for a coffee. They go down, they go and get the coffee, they come back and they'll say, see, the coffee makes all the difference. I don't think it was the coffee, actually.
But Let's think that if you want, but it's
Yeah,
not.
but if it makes you happy that the coffee did it, but it's actually not. You did it. You're the one who's in control. You're the one who chose to walk away, to change up the energy, to change the frequency. And then when you came back, you were a lot more relaxed. Probably the coffee made you relax. And then you could see it with from another perspective. That's how it works. Not the actual. I don't think any substance, like a lot of people say, they like to have a drink of wine or alcohol of some sort to give them a bit of courage and speak up.
Well, that leads to addiction. That's
Well, yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe temporarily, but it's kind of relying on something on the outside of yourself, on a substance of a sort. So that's how I look at it. I think that we have everything we need right inside of us. Of course, we've got to eat healthy and drink healthy, but everything we need is within. We have all the answers. It's all there. We just need to tap in with ourselves, and we have to trust that we have all the answers. That's what I work on at the moment. It works for me every time.
And it works for me too. But yeah, it's a process and it's continuous. But I think, like you said, once you kind of find the secret formula for yourself, it's quite wonderful.
That's what it is. Yeah, finding it. It's all good. Everything in balance. I don't judge anybody who smokes or drinks coffee. I don't judge anyone. It's up to them. Each person's got to know their own limits. But as long as you're happy and it's working for you, that's all that matters. And if it doesn't work, that's time for examining what you might be overusing or kind of not using properly or doing properly. Doesn't suit you.
Relying on, is it something that you can without it? Rely on yourself. I think that's why, like, building a relationship with yourself builds.
The number one thing is you've got to build a relationship with yourself. Coffee's fine, glass of wine or alcohol of any kind is fine if it makes you happy. It's a social habit, nothing wrong with that, as long as you don't overdo it. Everything's fine in moderation, but that relationship you build with yourself is number one, and you always have to check in with yourself if what you're doing is working or not. And your body will tell you. If your mood goes down and you're feeling a bit down, I don't know why. Well, you can ask yourself, why do you feel down?
Yeah, what's the environment? What's the trigger? Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And what you can do about it to change it up. You might need to sit in it for a while and just relax and just feel that how you feel, and then kind of recognize how you feel and just process that feeling, whether it's sadness or I feel sad. I don't know why, but I feel sad, and you just process it through your body and let it go, and it just goes.
Oh my God, that's so nostalgic, because I think that's one of the things I've learned from you, and I think Chris as well. When I was very resistant to feeling things, I'm like, no, I don't want to. And you're like, no, you're not honoring it. You got to feel it and then let it go. And I'm like, it took me a while, but so true though. It's just like, oh, that just reminded me, like, oh, I remember when Nancy was telling me about this. Oh, because I'm like very resistant, and it was bad in the sense that, you know, like you said, I wasn't honoring it. So I was like, oh, I do feel sad, and okay, I'll let it pass.
Yeah, it's kind of natural for us to resist something that we're being taught that it's bad for us. Like some people go through depression.
It makes it taboo, and you're just like, and I think it's silly in a sense, because you know, what do you like? How do you know when you're happy if you haven't felt sad before, and the other like duality and stuff like that? So
exactly. As long as you don't stay in it to that extent that it actually destroys your life and pushes everybody away, then of course there are other issues you need to address. But just temporary, we all feel sad, we all feel depressed at certain times until you learn to balance your emotions, and you release a lot of, I've done a lot of work on myself, and you release a lot of beliefs that you kind of took as your own during when you're growing up, either from your family or school or friends or work, and all sorts of stuff that we experience, and relationship breakdowns and stuff. And it's very easy to make you feel bad about yourself, but the thing is to work on yourself and let all that go, and then you know that I'm feeling a little bit sad, maybe I'm picking up other people. This is what happens to me quite often. I sense, I have like premonition, and certain, I pick up certain energies. I know it's not my own, and I will transmute that for people. That's just, I will just do it, and whether it's my own or not, I will just transmute it and do the same process, recognize it.
Ooh, the bird agrees.
And it's pouring down with rain and getting dark, and the bird is still there. I'm here.
Yeah. And I agree.
Yeah, true.
It's all wonderful.
True. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is good. Yeah.
Any final messages, Nancy?
Can't think of anything. I think we've covered pretty much everything. Is just a reminder for everyone to always check in with yourself. How you're feeling, especially first thing in the morning when you wake up. We addressed this in one of our podcasts on waking up cheerful.
Yeah.
And if you don't wake up cheerful, if you do wake up where you feel a bit of a doom and gloom, you've got to process it. You've got to learn. You've got to learn about all of these energies and how your body reacts to the environment and to the internal. Sometimes we have internal conflict. It's really just listening to yourself. Listen to your intuition. Ask your body what it needs. Ask your body for guidance. Ask your heart to lead you to wherever you're meant to be doing, whether it's the job, relationship. Connect with your heart, and it'll guide you to the right people. It's all about self-love. That's my last thought for tonight.
Fantastic. And I totally agree with that. I think couldn't have wrapped up better myself. Yeah, self-love, boundaries.
Yeah.
Don't resist. That's one of the things I've learned from Nancy as well. It's good. It's a good lesson. And let it flow, though that's very broad, and it's probably something we can talk about, letting things flow, because it's an art in itself. Letting things flow. Yeah, flow can be fast, can be slow, but yeah, don't resist. And yeah, I think be your own best friend first. It's always a fantastic thing.
So true. So true. And we're always so busy looking for validation from outside. Well, I don't anymore, but I mean, that's how we were. I'm speaking generally. That's how we were raised, to look for external validation, to let you know who you are, how good you are. But now it's all good. We're getting better all the time. As humanity and the way we treat one another, I've noticed a big change in the past couple of weeks. Just huge shift. It's just like a huge amount of people have been reaching out and for guidance, and suddenly they want to change their life. I want to change. I want to lose weight. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to feel happier. I don't want to do this anymore. It's amazing.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really good. I think it's a sign of good things to come. We just got to stay strong and honor each other, honor ourselves first, and then each other as well. That's very important. very, very good.
Fantastic. Thank you, Fancy Nancy, and thank you if you've been listening this far along. Hopefully it's been enlightening, and we'll catch you next week.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you for listening to episode 6 of Fear to Fun. Hope it was enlightening as we covered relationships in general. Please feel free to get in touch with us by exploring any of our links below, and feel free to like, share, and subscribe, as well as visit Nancy's website. Nancy has over 40 years experience in social services, including aged care and counselling. Again, thank you for listening. Light and love from both of us. Bye.